Hello everybody, Corey here. We're going to be trying to figure out what I'm doing. We're going to be going over the trades and holdings for these single stock ETFs. Just a reminder, I'm not a qualified, licensed investment or financial advisor. All I'm doing is gathering the data, making it readable and presentable, presenting it to you so you can make your own decisions and form your own opinions. Anyway, let me turn this fan off. I think I listened to a video with the fan on last night and there was too much background noise. But anyways, YieldMax ETFs are extremely risky, and please make sure you've read all the risk here on their website before investing. So we have some trades and some holdings, but I think we're good here on the trades until we get to GUI. I just checked, but let me just make sure. Okay, GUI. We have some closed trades there. So we're going to go over to the holdings and go ahead and jump into these. I don't recall seeing any comments about reading the stocks over here. I know it asked about that probably a video or two ago, so I'm just going to continue not doing it anymore. Unless I start getting questions or comments on the videos about it. But anyway, we're going to jump right in here with these short calls. We have two short calls that expire. So let's say today is Thursday, so tomorrow is Friday when these will close. They'll expire tomorrow. You have a strike price of $23 and $24. We're currently over that $23 strike price by 1% or 15 cents at close today. Of course, that's where the majority of our contracts are. We have almost 12,000 there. So being over that right this second is costing us 19 cents a share. However, and our synthetics don't expire for weeks, but we're above those. So we just look over here. Our synthetics is bringing the share price up 36 cents. And then we already talked about the short call bringing that down. Of course, over here, this one says, possible upside of 3 cents. But I would say no, not in this case, because with as many contracts that are sitting at that 23, the more that goes up, it's going to get probably, a lot more times. I don't know that I can say 10 more times worse, but just looking at the number of contracts. But I don't know. So let's see, just a glance over here. That's where the holdings as of yesterday, we were at 22.69. But yeah, then we went over the, we went over that strike price, which then put us in negative territory versus positive territory. I'm just looking at the stock price here and that. So like this is saying it could have gone up 16 cents, right, based on that one. And I'm looking at this. I don't even know why this would be so high. Looking at the percentage there of the shares, it doesn't make sense. But this one saying 16 cents, if we go up to that, if we add 16, and I probably shouldn't be trying to do math right now. What is that? 51 cents. So it could go up to 51 cents, but then it went over, and now it's showing it's dragging it down 8 cents a share, which then brings it, it's down to 47, so it's less than what it could have been. But then this right here, I wonder, I remember yesterday in the video, I had to go back and change one of these because it said synthetic. And because it was overtyped when we were on the video, I remember doing it. And I wonder if I then forgot to copy the new formulas out here. I don't know. We'll say again, just a reminder, that possible upside column is sort of a work in progress too. But I could tell just by looking at that something didn't seem right there. I don't know why I didn't catch it yesterday. But we're going to move on to AMDY. They added 165 contracts here. You can see they added them to the synthetic position, even though this is the one that expires in a couple of weeks. I don't know why they just don't go ahead and start the new one. But, yeah, because they're adding to something that's losing big time. All right. They stopped doing, well, I don't want to say they stopped, but on Ulti, what they started doing is that the synthetic, if it was under the synthetic, they just start creating a new synthetic instead of keep adding to, to the bleeding. I don't know why I want to say the bleeding turnip. That sounds so country. But that's the first thing that came to my head. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, they have a new short call that does expire next week with 150 strike price, which we're under by 3% currently. Then we have the short call that expires tomorrow with the 148 strike price, and we're underneath that by 1%. And we can see by being underneath that synthetic position by 9% is bringing the stock price down roughly $1.51 there. Looking here, we have a possibility of an upside of 40 cents. For the short call, and that's for the short call that expires next week. All right, let's move on to AMZ here. No trades. We have 3 short calls that expire tomorrow with the strike prices $182.50, which we're over right now by almost $2.50 or $2.25. And then we have 185, which we're only under by 28 cents. And then we have the 190 strike price, which we're under by 3%, which is where the majority of our contracts do sit. And then we have our synthetic position there with the 185 strike price, and they close at 184.72. So hopefully tomorrow they can roll this synthetic to July 19th, because then they'll be over the strike price. So maybe they will do that tomorrow. Even looking at this, even if they're not over it, on the left-hand side, you can see that it's still positive to close out that synthetic position. So hopefully tomorrow they'll just go ahead and roll that and get that taken care of. But if we look over here on the left-hand side, right-hand side, we don't really have any major shifts in the stock prices there, because we don't have anything, really big up or really big down. And as far as a possible upside over here, I don't know, maybe 30 cents or something. We will see. That would get it up to roughly $24 if possible. But, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. All right, let's move on to Apley. Apley added 75 contracts today. They added to the existing synthetic position, which they were actually over today. I guess they wanted to see what was going to happen with Apple earnings today. I don't know if I personally would have taken that chance. I would have just been like, we're up and over, let's move on out. But, we're lucky, and Apple did go up in after hours. The last time I saw it, it was up and up and up. But they created a new short call for next week that will expire next Friday at the 177.50 strike price there. So we're underneath that by 3%. We also have one that expires tomorrow at the 177.50 strike price, obviously still under 3%. And then we have the 175, which we're under 1%. And then we're above the synthetic by 2% there, so looking good over here. I know those right there say negative, but it's just due to the, everything going on with the volatility and earnings and everything. But tomorrow's the expiration date. And actually, I should say, they're actually not looking good. I was talking about the synthetic. The short calls, though, I just realized. Now I'm wondering, because I don't remember where Apple closed at in the after hours. Let's see. I'm going to have to wake my husband up here in a second if he don't stop snoring. Did you hear that? Yeah. All right. Post market 183. So that would actually suck for us because, I mean, I guess it's going to be great for the synthetics, but we'll be above all of those short calls there, which then that means they'd probably close out the synthetics because, yeah, I guess that's what you're gambling on for it to go up. Be down the short calls because then they'll make a bunch of money off the synthetics to cover them, which they need to close out anyway. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't know about this possible upside over here of roughly 20 or so cents. I guess we'll see if we can get up to $17 tomorrow. It should. The synthetics should continue to bring it up, but in the end, I think these over here are going to be negative for that. Would be negative in the possible upside column because they're probably going to be over those straight prices. But then it's all in the hands of the synthetic. All right, let's move on to Coney. Coney here, we have 5 short calls. 240, 247.50, 252.50, 255 for this week, and 255 expiring next week. So we're underneath all of those by 5 and 10%. But then we do have the synthetic position, in which we're underneath by 12%. So if we look over here on the right-hand side, we can see that the synthetic is bringing the share price down roughly $3.35. Yeah. So for our short calls, the majority of our contracts are sitting at the 255 strike price. So I think we're good up to that. They did report earnings, but they ended up closing at the end of the night at 8 o'clock at 223. So, I mean, it's not bad. It wasn't too big a swing either, but I don't think we're going to get up close to that 255. But that would be nice, at least to bring the synthetic positions up. But maybe next week. Anyway, maybe there's an upside of $2 over here, but based on how the stock went in after hours, I doubt that's going to matter. No trades here. We do have a short call that expires tomorrow, 114 straight price, which we're under by 1%. Then our synthetics were underneath by 6%, which is bringing the stock price down roughly $1.29. Possibility of upside of 25 cents for the short call there. We will see. Phoebe here. Phoebe that added 110 contracts to the synthetic position with a 525 strike price and created a new short call for next week with a strike price of 455. We also have 4 other short calls, 435, 437.50, 450, and 455. We are over the first 2. Wow, so we're over the first one by $6.68, but hardly any contracts there. Then the next one we're over. I don't know, because I don't want to do math. $2.50, $3.50, $4.18 maybe, or 1% there. But that's where half of our contracts are sitting. So yeah, it shows us bringing those where the half of the stocks are sitting that's over the strike price. Looks like it's bringing the stock down 12 cents maybe, but our synthetics, of course, are bringing the stock price down more than the short calls, but it's bringing it down $3.38 for that just the one synthetic position, so roughly $3.50 if we were looking at all of those. And as far as upside over here, just looking at the short call upsides, I would say no. There's not any specifically for the short calls. But of course, our synthetics could help those, help make some money there. Or at least bring the value up. It's not going to make money unless it was cashed out, which in this case is going to cost a lot of money to close out. So anyway, let's move on to GUI. And then GUI, we do know that they ended up rolling one of their short calls. So you can see here they had a short call with the 175 strike price. It's funny because they're not even near it, but they went ahead and they closed it for 2 cents a share. They had 1,040, so they went ahead and used 540. Hey, They actually used 540 of those and left 500 for next week at 170. I guess they figure they'll see how the market's going to go tomorrow. All right, so we'll come back from, we'll come back from Murney there. We're going to go here. I'm sorry, it's got to reload, even though there's not really much to load here because it's all just values and no formulas. Sorry about that, I'm drinking. Hey, you're snoring. All right. So we see those new contracts right there for next week. So we have the two short calls, the one that expires tomorrow with the 160 strike price, which we are over, by the way, by 4% there. We're over by $6.62. And then, of course, that's where the majority of our contracts are at. And then we have the other one, 170, and we're underneath that by 2%, which means we're also underneath our synthetic by 2%. So the synthetic's bringing the share price down 32 cents, and then being over the strike price for those 1,000 contracts is bringing the share price down 37 cents. Looking at the short call, doesn't appear to be any possible upside there. As it goes up, this other one's just going to keep going negative. Possibility could be some upside based on the synthetic position there, though, as it does come up. Let's move on to JPMO. We have no trades. We have two short calls that expire tomorrow, 195 and 197.50 strike price, which are currently under by 2 and 3%. We are, though, underneath the synthetic position by 4%, which is bringing the share price down 82 cents a share. It looks like there's roughly 20 cents. 20-cent upside there. Sorry, I'm looking at this. 530, 275. I'm going to have to look at the formula. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Am I losing it? I feel like, I don't know. I just think it's odd that those right there, that basically the same 22 and 20, while one's got almost double the contracts as the other, and they're similar in strike price. I don't know. I know I had them broken out based on that before and weighting and stuff, but every time I turn around, it's like something changes on the spreadsheet, but I will double check that. Anyway, so we have Murney here. Murney rolled its synthetics. Okay. I guess it didn't. So it looks like some people must have sold out of these. I guess they're not going to do separate transactions anymore. But they had, for the short call, 2480 and the synthetic 2480. So they closed those. And then they created positions for the synthetic expiring in July. But with only 2,365 shares. So that's 125 contract difference. Same thing with the short call. That's right. This one is the one that has been over its strike price, I think, all week, and 108 strike price, and then it had earnings today, and it was up to $125 at close. So we've been capped on this going up, and then now it just went really way, and we had nothing there. So our strike price for the short call for next week is 131. That's interesting. And just the dollar amount, it's like 131. Anyway, it looks like you can see here that their total shares were negative 1.7 million. Dang it. I don't know why. I don't know. All right, so then we're going to look at the holdings for Murney. And all right, so you can see the new synthetic position and short call here for the 2,365 contracts. So we're 4% under the short call strike price and 5% over the synthetic strike price. As you can see, the synthetic is bringing the share price up $1.25, while the short call is bringing the stock price down 33 cents. However, this short call is out over a week there. It does show, though, here possible upside of 89 cents a share. Those cats are tearing something up in there. Sorry, I was just looking. So this one could jump. Obviously 4%, but about $5.50 there before it gets to the strike price. All right, so what I did not do, it doesn't appear to be any trades, but let's just check and make sure we don't have any others with closing out trades that we need to come back. Yep, pay. All right, so MSFO, no trades here, but we have 2 short calls. I'm almost done. 2 short calls expiring tomorrow with the 407.50 and the 420 strike price, which we're under by 2 and 5%. And then we are under our synthetic position there by 6%, which is bringing the stock price down at $1.42. Looking down here, looks like possible upside about $1.05 maybe. Of course, we only have 1 day, and I don't know if the stock's going to drop $23. But we will see. Misty here, we have no trades to go over. We do have 5 short calls that all expire tomorrow: 1180, 1280, 1405, 1410, and 1430 strike prices. My goodness. We are close to that one there, though, the 1180 strike price, because we did come up $100 today. So that would only make us $50 away from that now. But there's only 110 contracts. The majority of the contracts with 720 are sitting at the 1380 strike price. Of course, we're getting really close to being over our synthetic strike price there, but right now we're still under it by 2%, which is bringing the stock price down roughly 54 cents there. I mean, according to these numbers over here, it looks like we could come up $4, I guess. If we could, really come up, what is that, $260, but I don't know about that. Anyway, let's move on to Nephle. Nephle, we have no trades. We do have the short call that expires tomorrow, which we're under by 1%, $4.95, but we're underneath our synthetic position by 11%, so it's bringing the stock price down $2 there. In NVIDIA here, we have 120 contracts added to the synthetic position and a new short call created here for next week with a strike price of $8.90. We also have the 2 short calls that will expire tomorrow, the 865 and the 920, which we're underneath by 1 and 7%, and we're under the other one for next week by 4%. We're still underneath that synthetic position by 6%, which is bringing the stock price down roughly $1.62. There is the possibility of bringing the stock price up if we get up to around $9.20. Now, we did jump $38 today, no, $28 today in share price, but I don't know about the possibility of actually jumping, what is that, $60 a share. I don't know. It would be nice, though, wouldn't it? Let's move on. We have ARC here. They added 230 contracts to the synthetic position, and they created a new short call that expires next Friday with a $46 strike price, and we're underneath that by 2%. We also have the short call that expires tomorrow with a strike price of $45. We are only under that by 7 cents. and we have almost 16,000 contracts there. We are underneath the strike price of the synthetic position by 10%, which is bringing the stock price down roughly $1.32. And then if we move on, we have PayPay here. So we do show that they had rolled or closed out or whatever. Let's look. So, okay. So they did roll them. You see all the contracts down here the same, 2,555. So we stay the same there. They roll the synthetics from expiring on May 17th to July 19th with the same strike price. Then they rolled the short calls that were going to expire tomorrow to next week. Which one is this? Well, we'll see how this one goes because Block reported today and they were positive, and after hours they went up due to earnings. So I'd expect PayPal would go up tomorrow due to that, and they did good on their earnings on top of that. So it's interesting to see having this lower strike price on these short calls, especially like that 1 to 68. We're only $1 away from that. I don't know, but anyway, let's move over here and look at our holdings here. So you can see the new synthetics there and the new short calls. We're underneath those short calls by 2 and 3%. Like I said, the one we're only underneath at $1.02. So we're under the other one's going to be $2.02. And these don't expire till next week. Right now, the synthetic position is bringing the stock price up 78 cents. Now, these are next week. Down there at the bottom, it looks like a possible upside of maybe, 40 cents or so. But let's move on to SQUE with no trades. 2 short calls that expire tomorrow with $81 and $82 strike price. These did hit $80 at some point, a little over $80, which is where we were probably about a month or so ago. So I'm not sure how these are going to play out. But we're roughly, there's no sense of saying they're underneath those by 13 and 14 because we know in after hours they were at around $80. And we're currently underneath the synthetic 12% here, but we were around 80, so I don't think that market value of negative $3 is going to be about accurate. Of course, this is down here is saying that we could, I guess we'll see how this goes tomorrow. See, I can't really see how it goes because they're going to close them out tomorrow. Well, these are new ones, so they may not close them out. So I may be able to look at these and see at this possible upside column if it makes any sense. Because if it could come up that $3, then we're looking at almost $25 a share. And I would be ecstatic about that. Yes, I would. Anyway, Tesla. They ended up rolling out the synthetic. So we have a synthetic here, 6690 shares. They rolled these from May 17th of a 195 strike to July 19th of a 175 strike price. So overall, it ended up paying out $14.6 million. That's a lot. All right. And that's it. So if we look right here, we can see those new positions, and these other synthetics, they were rolled yesterday. Of course, if we'd rolled these the other day, we'd have probably done better when Tesla was up to about 195. But anyway, we have 4 short calls. 3 of those expire tomorrow, the other one next week. We closed at 180.01. that first strike price, which is the majority of our contracts, 30,000 plus, we're over that by 1 cent. So we'll see how this is going to play out here. Yeah, there's going to be no possible upside looking at that. I wouldn't think, as far as the short calls go. Just because, again, these go negative. Well, we might have upside for our synthetic positions, but we would if it goes up. But for the short calls, not looking too great there. Depends on how far we get up there. Anyway, Zomo here, no trades. We have 2 synthetic positions that expire tomorrow, 119 and 124 strike price, which were under 2 and 6%. We're also under the strike price of the synthetic by 3%. Currently, the stock price is being brought down 68 cents due to the synthetic position. And it looks like a possible upside of 40 cents a share there. YMAG closed at 1982. YMAX closed at 2021, while Ulti closed at 1504. And then YBET actually closed at 1886. Anyway, I will let y'all go there, and I will talk to y'all later. Thanks for joining me and going through these trades. Bye.